So, hello everyone. This is again Vishnu Raja on behalf of Rajiv Gandhi IAS Academy. So, we're going to start with the first lecture of economics. I've already given you what are the topics which is going to be covered in economics in the last video. In the intro video, I've explained the syllabus and the order in which I'm going to cover the syllabus and why have we chosen that order, and I've also explained what are the topics which are going to be covered in economics. So with that, I just want to set few things straight before going into the topics. See, before going into economics, some of the key shortcuts, like two shortcuts here I would like to say, like while studying economics. Economics has a lot of definitions. Okay, so and half the time, those definition, if you want to have understanding, I would want you to break that word and understand it, or convert it into your local language and understand it. So a simple example would be GDP. That will be the topic we'll be covering today. I would go in detail, but I'm just giving it as an intro. GDP is nothing but gross domestic product. So the word itself explains what it is. So if you take gross means you're essentially not deducting anything. Domestic, it means it is within the boundaries of the nation, and product means what is the production happening. Or like I'll say in my mother tongue, there is a word called as, like for GDP, it is called as Ulnattu Urpatti. I mean, like there is no better definition or there is no better understanding for GDP. In Ulnattu Urpatti, it literally explains everything. So that would be one of the key shortcuts to understand economics. The second thing is, this lecture or even in books, economics goes back and forth. Like we'll be looking at GDP, national income accounting, but at the same time we'll be going through little bit of budget, investment, etc. So those things will be dealt, like budget will be dealt in detail in fiscal policy. So inflation also will be looking, inflation will be dealt in detail along with banking, money and inflation. But it goes back and forth. So when then and there those words comes, I'll just throw in, few seeds. Okay, so those seeds will be thrown as an explainer to understand as of now. So you don't have to panic even if you don't know completely, because when the series completes, your knowledge in economics will be comprehensive. So that is related to like how to, these are the two shortcuts, how to study. Next, coming to how will the lecture be. Always, I believe in, throwing in seeds again. Like before going into the concept, we'll be looking at, various aspects, like how has it evolved and etc. So then only we'll go into the concept. So I feel it makes the understanding easier. Is it or not? I want you to comment down below or give me personal feedback. Okay. So with that, we're going into the topic for the today, national income accounting. So basically it is one of the hardest topics, I would say, because there is a lot of formulas involved. So that means you literally have to memorize a lot of formulas. Is it or not? That's what we're going to go see in this chapter, because I don't believe in memorizing. So rather always find other logics and reasons to, remember those stuff. So we'll be going in that way so that the whole chapter becomes easier for you to understand. So with that all introduction, we'll be moving to the content. So essentially the topic is national income accounting, sir. So what is national income accounting? See, again I said the name itself says national income. So that means what? In crude terms, basically income earned by people of the nation. Accounting means you're essentially measuring. So that is all national income accounting. So by now itself, by reading the term itself, you should get an understanding. So then you can just look at the formal definition. That's nothing but some of the techniques used to measure the economic activity, sir. And where? In the economy as a whole. So it is covering economy as a whole. So that means these are some techniques you measure the economic activity for whole of economic. It is not at per person level or state level. So there are obviously they will be taking measures over there also and they aggregate. But the thing is, the objective is to know at the overall macro perspective. Macro means big, seeing from the top view. Okay, so that is what. So whenever, see, despite this being a prelims course, you need to know uses and application, because UPSC will ask what are the possible uses or possible application. They will use the word. So definitely you need to go a little bit into the application part also. That is why we are having this topic, need or significance or uses of national income accounting. So in what way national income accounting is helpful to us? This is both a prelims and a mains topic. So that is what we are going to see. So first and foremost thing, whenever, I mean, this is from a mains perspective, like whenever you are going to write an answer, or whenever you are going to, when some question is asked, like what way national income accounting is helpful to us, if you are thinking about that, I would want you to like think in some framework, like you should not say that, okay sir, national income accounting, that means we are measuring national income, definitely we need for policy making, and then what sir, then definitely we need for something else. So don't go point by point, rather go topic by topic. What I mean, I will explain now. So first thing is, so in an economy we know there are two peoples, like one is government and business. So just by knowing that government and business, how national income accounting is useful for government, how national income accounting is useful for business, how national income accounting is useful for individual, how national income accounting is useful for international, something like that. So all those aspects, in those lines if you think, essentially you will get more points. So this is just the aspect for mains. Okay, so first we will be looking at government aspect. So government, why does government need national income accounting, sir? As simple as, already I said, national income means you are going to measure the economic activity. What is the objective? First and foremost thing, only if I know the ground reality, sir, I will be able to make policy. Okay, so first thing is policy formulation. So I will have some objectives saying that, I need to have proper resource should go over here. Like for example, now I will be saying this year, I will make a policy saying that yes, roads are more important, I want connectivity roads. Or maybe I will even say that, see, railways are overburdened. That means they are not used for freight, rather they are used for passenger. Freight means goods, okay? They are not used for goods. அதாவது வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இதுக்கு லைக் பொருள் எடுத்து போய் யூஸ் பண்ணல, பட் மக்கள் போகிறதுக்காக யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஸோ but railway is a cheap mode of transport, sir. So if it is a cheap mode of transport, then I want to promote it over roads. So that means what? Government policy will be like, okay, so this policy, if you want to increase the national income, I want to like basically allocate more for railways so that my products will become cheaper. When my products will become cheaper, they will be demanded more. Essentially, when price decreases, people will demand more. People will buy more. When people demand more, automatically my national income, the economic activity will increase. So that is what. So essentially, this is used for policy formulation, sir. Next, policy evaluation. See, if I am making some policy, I need to know whether that policy is successful or not. Okay, so that means I am saying that, okay, so I made this policy that, let's take the example of railways itself. So I need to say like lay freight corridors, dedicated freight corridors to improve the GDP of the country. So I have to see after laying whether the GDP has improved or not, where it has lagged. So post-mortem analysis basically you have to do. It helps over there also, sir, policy evaluation. Okay, so it will essentially say whether it is a success, shortcoming or failure. So all those things will be. Third important thing, sir, on an annual basis, your national income accounting is needed for budget, sir. So why is government framing budget? See, there will be day-to-day problems, like year-wise problem. For example, last year there was a corona. So COVID lockdown. So that means I have to make a budget tailored for that. So essentially what? Because of COVID lockdown, there was there was lockdown essentially within country, and externally also I was not able to trade. So that means what? People were consuming only food, essential item. I didn't buy car, I didn't buy AC, I didn't buy anything, but I was focusing only on sustaining myself. So the whole economic activity dropped when you focus on only essentials. People, like for example, I will not buy car means the employees of the car company will not get job. There will be joblessness. The hotels were closed. That means people, what will happen to people who are running those hotels? What will happen to people who are running airlines? So you get it right. So that means the economy will go downfall. So that means what will government has to do? So the government will say, okay, see, national income, do national accounting and say, yeah, the GDP has declined a lot. So that means this year budget, we have to focus our budget tailored to increasing the GDP. So essentially that is what government is also doing now. So it gives inputs to budget making, sir. So I have literally I've like basically written a short intro. This will be dealt in detail in your public finance and budget class, but I've said how would a budget making would work. So essentially depression, that means you can take the example of COVID, what happened? The economy slumped. It was this level, it went to down. Okay, so that means what will I do? So that means essentially people are consuming only essential good. They are not demanding anymore. What will government do? Okay, I have so much money, I will increase demand. So what will government do? Government will start spending. Okay, I am spending on road. That means automatically demand for bricks, demand for cement, demand for everything will increase. So for example, if a road comes to village, automatically the village is connected. So that means the products in the village will be demanded to the people. So essentially demand increase multiple times. So you get it right. So when there's a depression, the government will go for deficit. Deficit means they will spend more than what they have. They will not only spend all the money, they will rather spend more than, they will borrow money and spend it. Okay, so because the point is to spend, increase the demand and have growth. Okay, so that is why. So that is the depression policy. I'm just saying how national income accounting is coming into budget framing. So similarly, if there's an inflation or boom, so when people have so much money, people are rich, that means what? I will start demanding a lot of goods. So automatically what will happen? Prices. So a simple example will be 2003-4, sir. When IT came into India, a lot of people have money. They got sudden rich, prosperous. So what happened? Essentially, when people got money, they got suddenly rich and prosperous. So that means they started demanding, like, I want to have a new house, I want to have a new car. That means real estate prices shot up like anything. So he said there's inflation. So that time what government should do, if price level keeps on increasing, the poor man will get affected, sir. So that means what will government do? Government will make a surplus budget. That means they will spend less and they will extract more. How will they extract more, sir? They will extract more through increasing the taxes. You get it right? So that is called a surplus budget. So this is how your national income accounting will influence budget. Then next part, sir, what is the other thing? Next part is statistics. See, it is not only important that I know the national income, rather I should know the constituents. Where is it going, sir? Where is my national income coming from? Like for example, I need to know whether it is from because of people consumption on goods or is it because of investment. Investment means very simple. It is nothing but you are increasing the productive capacity of the economy. Okay, so I will just, so that is called as investment. So where is my national income coming from? So what is the components of the national income, sir? So all those things will be stated. So this is from a government perspective, the uses, need, significance, etc. of national income. Okay. So next, and by the way, consumption and investment, one sec. Consumption and investment, etc. will be delved in detail in the future slides. So you just don't have to worry even if you don't know the definition as of now. So next important thing, already I said, okay, first government we completed, next we will be coming to business aspects, sir. So then why business need national income accounting? Just imagine, see, I am running a business. I need to know what is the future projection. So like if the future growth is good, then I will obviously invest more, increase my productive capacity because the future demand it's going to come, no? When the growth is good, people will start demanding new goods, new services. So that is why I will invest. So that is why for taking decision making, sir, it is very much important. Okay, so next important thing is international aspect. So how does this national income accounting helps in international? First thing is comparison, sir. We need to compare whether India is growing fast or Bangladesh or which country. So recently if you see, Bangladesh is almost like it is growing faster than India, one of the fastest growing South Asian countries. So something like that, comparison. Not only comparison, from there you will get insight, sir. What policies are causing growth in Bangladesh? Why is it not happening in India? Learning. Apart from that, so you compare, and then apart from that you will also coordinate, sir. Essentially by sharing ideas, one coordination. In international platform, for example, we are seeing South-South cooperation. That means what? All the developing countries, they come together. They have common problems like unemployment, poverty, but all the first world developed countries, they are focusing on climate change, and they are focusing on reducing, having equality, etc. So the difference, you see the problem and the difference in the priorities, and they are also focusing on, developed countries will focus on opening all the countries trade barrier. Like you open complete trade, we want to access your market. That is what developed countries saying, because they have lot of capacity, sir. So, but what does domestic countries, like what does developing countries say? My industry is still not developed. It is what, see, Britain has been industrializing from what, 1800s. So their industry will be very mature. But India, what, industrialization after 1947. Basically some industrialization happened before that, but major push came post that. You see the difference, right? So industries are infant here. So there's a policy clash. That is why this kind of, that means we will group all the developing countries based on the national income. And national income. So then these countries will cooperate with each other and fight for their rights with the developed countries. So that is something. And just the fact, as of now, I will use a national income and GDP interchangeably, sir. We are not going to differentiate as of now, but before that lecture ends, you will get to know the difference. What is the difference between GDP and national income? So don't worry about that also. So next one, you will be looking at global policy making. So what global level, what should be the policy making? Like, for example, when you are fighting the climate change, so whether you should prioritize growth or how much growth should be compromised. So all those things you need to know, sir. So this is with respect to, and while explaining the framework, I also said at individual level. So if you want to add extra point, you can simply write at individual level. What will happen? I will get information because I am a citizen of this country. I need to have information. So individual level, I will get information, whether the government is working on it. That ensures accountability. So something like that. So you can generate more and more points. These are just, there's no end to points. I'm just giving some of the important points only over here. So with that, we will be moving into circular flow of income, sir. So basically, now that we have explained, where does income comes, like, what does national income accounting is. So now we will be moving into, like, how is that income coming from, what entity is contributing to what. So that is what we are going to look at. So as the name again suggests, it is circular flow. That means essentially I am, a simple example I can take here itself. There are households like you and me, we are households. What are we doing? We are going and working in a company, we are producing something. For that, what? They are giving me income. Okay, so they are giving me income. So I am spending that same income to buy some goods from the company. You get it right? Why it is called a circular flow? Because money is going in and around. It is just changing hands. And that is why it is called a circular flow of income. And this is the most important topic of, national income accounting, because having a clarity over here will give you a command over all the formulas. So essentially based on this only, we will be deriving all our formulas, sir. Okay, so with that, we'll be looking at the entities, most important entities first. We'll just divide this into, upper limb and lower limb, because I don't want to confuse now. So first we'll focus on the upper limb, sir. So essentially if you take an economy, who all will be there? There will be two peoples. One will be household. I have written as HH. Okay, in my notes there will be a lot of short forms. Then and there I will be explaining that. So similarly there will be, firm or business. So, and one more thing I wanted to say. This here I have only shown flow of income, not goods. You will understand what is it now. So basically I have put households on one side and firm on one side. These are like two basic entities which will be there in an economy. So what will households provide, sir? So that means firm is there. Firm needs something to produce. What does it need? For example, very basic thing is labor. I need labor. Without labor I cannot produce anything. That labor comes from what? You and me. From our household only we are seeing daily morning our parents go, and now we will also go. So they are going for work. Okay. So that labor, simple thing, that labor provides. So these kind of things are called as factors of production. Labor, which helps in factors of production, those things which helps in production, sir. So that one of the example is labor. There are 4 principal factors of production which you should always have in mind. Okay, so these are land, labor, and capital. For capital I will always use K. Okay, so then fourth important thing is entrepreneurship. So basically what labor is a physical labor for doing manual work. Land, obviously to set up any entity you need land, that is one factor of protection. Third, capital. Capital means nothing, sir. Capital means it is a entity, like it is a machinery or something which is need to produce more goods. Definitely I need machinery. Like for example, if to take this class I need this TV. This TV is my capital, sir. Okay. Fourth important thing, entrepreneurship. To manage all the things, you need to manage capital, you need to manage labor, you need to manage labor, and you need to manage land and etc. So all those things, the coordination between to ensure coordination, to make policies, to make decision, to guide etc. You need an entrepreneur. So you'll have entrepreneurship. So these are the four important things, and each people will be paid accordingly, sir. For example, labor will get wage W. Okay, land, for land you will be paying what? Rent. So that is called R. So similarly for capital you will be getting interest. For any capital obviously I will be getting interest. So like if you have lent something, the returns on that is called as interest. Similarly for entrepreneurship, this is profit, sir. So profit we use the symbol pi over here. So in the lecture if pi comes, that means profits. So you need to understand that part. So essentially what? The households are providing land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So I didn't put that arrow. So essentially providing, but they are getting in return all this income. This is also called as factor income, sir. Okay, factor income, sir. And similarly, so since from households perspective, if you see, this can be said as factor income. Similarly, from firm's perspective, if you see, this is called as factor cost, sir. So they are essentially one and the same. So you have now understood the upper limb aspect of things, sir. Now we will be moving into the lower limb. So essentially upper limb aspect will focus more on supply. So basically they are getting income. So essentially they are producing, they are getting income. So this is more on how much supply of goods can happen. So this is a upper limb is a supply aspect, because essentially what we are giving all these factors of production. Based on these factors of production, my firm here will produce some goods and services. So this is essentially supply aspect. For supply you will always put S and Y. Okay, so this is supply aspect. Now upper limb is over. Now we will be looking how the circular flow is established, income down. So now this will be that these households are going to spend. So we will be looking at the demand aspect of things, sir. So I'll just erase all these things, so that it doesn't become cluttery. Okay, so now that the page is clear, now we'll be seeing. So now basically the households have got their income, so they're all rich now, so they want to spend their monthly expenditure. So we'll see in what way they're going to spend. First thing, I need to buy some commodities. For example, today afternoon I need to have my food, so I'll be going to a restaurant and having my food, something like that. Or I need to buy this pen, something like that. So basically I need to buy. So essentially I am buying all this for what? Consumption purpose. That means I'm using it. So essentially first thing comes is households. Where do they spend? They spend on consumption, sir. Consumption on goods and services provided by firms, sir. So C means consumption. So that is the first expenditure, sir. Next important entity. So wait, I am going to only consume. See, if I spend all the income, tomorrow an emergency come, what will happen? Where will I go for money? So there comes. So essentially you will not only consume, rather you will also save some small part of income. So that is so apart from giving, consumption, you will also be saving. So that saving, where will you do, sir? So that saving will be done in banks or financial institutions. So apart from 1 and 2, now we are having a third entity which is coming as a entrant. So that means households, after getting the income, they are saving, sir. So this income, so basically this income, now what? Banks have got savings. So that means they can't sit idle. They have to earn, their profit from that. So what will they do? They will probably give returns like what? 5%, like what? 4%. 4% is the interest rate for, savings account. So they will be giving 4%. But now what? They will be lending loans to business, like what, at 6% or 7% or 8%, something like that. It's a higher rate. So this difference they will take as profit. You get it, right? So essentially what, all the money they get, they will be lending. So that's why for simplicity here we are saying all the money will be lent. So S equal to I. Okay, so all the savings will be converted into investment, and this, so this loan lent, and based on this loan lent, the company will increase the productive capacity. That is why I'm saying all the savings will be converted into investment. So increase in productive capacity is nothing but investment. We already saw. Okay, so that is the second aspect. So how this thing, and similarly in the first thing we saw the consumption, the entire consumption expenditure you are consuming, that means you are giving that portion back again to the firm. Similarly you are saving something, you are also giving that thing to the firm. And this thing, just one more important fact regarding banks and financial institution and saving, both households and firm means company, firm/business. So all those people will save, sir, and all those people will invest. See, households will also invest. Like if I want to buy a house or construct a house tomorrow, I'm investing. Okay, so but for simplicity's sake, we are saying that households save and your firms invest. So this is just to again have a simple diagram, because our objective is not to make a perfect model, rather than to have a perfect understanding, sir. So apart from that, okay, so with that all over, now I got some income, I have consumed some goods, I have also saved. Is that all? Apart from that, sir, I have to pay my taxes. See, if I don't pay my taxes, what will happen? Police will be there, income tax official will be there at my home. So I have to pay the taxes, sir. So that will be the third part. So that means I will be paying taxes to the government. So then government will get to the tax as a revenue. So government is having revenue. Is it going to stay simple? Like it is going to stay idle? No. Government will also spend it, sir. What will government spend on? Government will create roads, government will create industrial park. So essentially government will spend it to benefit business. So by creating industrial park, they are facilitating businesses to be set up, firms to be set up, etc. This is again a simplification, sir. Tax are paid both by, in reality tax are paid both by firm and households, sir, but just for and similarly the government expenditure, like for example Manrega and all we are having, so where the government itself giving money to households, similarly subsidy. So in that way also they are also spending, like what government is giving them and government is also taking from them. So it's a two-way process, but for simplicity's sake again I'm saying households will pay the tax and government will spend on benefiting the business. So this is to ensure simplicity. So with that we are seeing all these things, and finally the last and important thing is, this is okay if our economy is not trading, okay, but now today, especially post 1991, our economy has been actively involved in trade. In fact, we are in service, we are in fact leaders. Okay, so one of the leaders, like top service exporters. So we are actively trading. That means apart from this, there are also other elements which comes to into play. So what is that thing? That is your international market. That means this firms and business, what will they do? They will be exporting, sir. Exporting will be to international market, but the income they get, that will be to the firm. So that is why this is we are looking from the first itself. We are looking only income, sir. We are not looking where the good goes. Okay, this is a circular flow of income. So international market, you are exporting means you will be getting money into, but you are importing means what? You have to pay. That means you will be sending money out. So this is the simple thing, international market. And again one more thing, this is also a simplification. See, both households and your firms do export and import, but for simplicity's sake I'm saying is essentially what like even for household to import, they can't import directly, right? They need some local vendor and etc. So all those we can club into firm and saying, so essentially the imports and exports are handled by the firms. So this is essentially the circular flow, how the income they get and how is it being spent. So we saw, and essentially this upper side is your income side, and which is also supply side. The lower side is your expenditure side, sir. So lower side is your expenditure, basically how they are spending, and this is also the demand side, sir. So as simple as that. So with that understanding, we will be looking at how to calculate national income. Okay, so basically you need to calculate the aggregate value, that is what national income. So aggregate economic activity which is happening. So that means you can take any point over here. So like for example, if I take the upper half, that means if I cut at this point and say how much income is flowing, what is the income is flowing? Well, nothing but wages plus rent plus interest plus profits. So that is my national income. Then again finally, if I cut at this part in expenditure, and if I see how much income is flowing into, like for example, consumption, investment, government expenditure, and my exports are flowing in. So all the okay, sorry, a technical glitch. Okay, so basically till now we have looked at, we looked at the income side of things or the supply side of things. Now we are going to calculate the national income or GDP. As of now it's the same, but we will see the difference later. From the expenditure side of things, sir. Expenditure side of things means what is flowing in, what is flowing out. So essentially if you see flowing in aspect, you are seeing consumption is flowing in, sir. Like from this one point, if you are seeing the thing from expenditure, so consumption is flowing in, sir. So that means C is coming in. That is part of my national income or GDP. Next, investment is also flowing in. That means C plus I. That is also coming. Next, government expenditure. That is also coming in, sir. Next important thing, which is another thing flowing in, exports. Exports are flowing in means what? Money from exports are flowing in, sir. So that means this is also coming, sir. What is flowing out, sir, then? National income means some part is not coming to me. Now I am spending on imports. That is for some other country. Okay, they are going to get benefited, not me. So that means your imports will be subtracted. They will be removed. So this will be the expenditure side of things of national income, sir. So we essentially looked at the analysis. So this is just a preliminary way. Okay, so we already saw with the income method what is going to be the national income: wages plus rent plus interest plus profits. Similarly, we also saw with the expenditure method. So this is your supply, this is your demand. Okay, so supply I used to write SY and demand ED. Similarly, third way of calculation of national income is also there, sir, which is nothing but product method. Product method means nothing. It's very simple, sir. If you look at the firm or business, okay, so what they are producing, some quantity Q, they are selling at some price P. So essentially what? My Q into P. So that means what? I am producing 10 pens like this, and I am selling each pen at 10 pens I am producing. I am selling each pen as 10 rupees. So that means what is my GDP or national income? 10 into 10, 100. As simple as that. So that P into Q is called as product method, sir. So that is what? Product method. So that is what is a national income. So we just looked at national income in three ways. Essentially, future we will be looking at 3 ways to calculate GDP. I have just thrown in the seed. This is not a perfect formula. That is why I have written preliminary only, because you have to wait for the perfect formula. Okay. So this is the 3 ways of calculation of national income as of now. Hold it. Then future we will see. Okay.